What's up guys, welcome to our channel, Honest Hockey Takes. Today, we'll be doing a video on a list of breakout candidates.
So we're each going to give you 3 players that we think will have breakout seasons. Players that have not fully lived up to the potential yet, whether they're really young still or they just haven't fully hit the potential that they were supposed to have when they were drafted. And we're going to start off with my boy here, Howin. Send us home with our first player.
My first player would be from the Carolina Hurricanes, Seth Jarvis. I know this is a little weird because this is only his second season playing, but listen, this kid is terrific. He's playing on a line with Sebastian Aho on a regular, which is great news for him. Last year, I saw him play on the third line. I saw him play on the second line. I saw him play on the first line. So I've seen him fluctuate throughout the lineup. I've seen him be able to score on every line. So that's why I feel like this player is, to me, I know skill-wise he's not better than Svechnikov, but to me, I feel like he's going to be a more consistent, more reliable player than Svechnikov when the time counts. So that's why I have Seth Jarvis on this list. Last year, he had 40 points in 68 games. I feel like he's going to pop off and probably have at least probably in the 65 points in the 82 game schedule.
Yeah, he had a really good second half there at the end. And honestly, he started to look pretty solid in the playoffs too, in their first 2 rounds there before they got eliminated.
He played better in the playoffs than Svechnikov.
He did. This is true. Oh. That is true. I don't know if he can continue that in a full season, but yeah. I do like your thought process on that because, I mean, when you're playing with Sebastian Aho and you're getting those first line minutes, even as a young kid, you're going to have a good chance to put up a lot of points. And I could see him, as a breakout candidate, someone who could get an extra 15 points higher, 20 points higher than last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Similar to that, actually, I got another young kid here. I got Tim Stutzler from the Ottawa Senators. Now, Tim Stutzler's now had 2 seasons under his belt. I guess you could say 1.5, though, because of that COVID-shortened year. But this guy is just primed for a big, big season. He has all new wingers this year. He's got Claude Giroux, and he's got Alex DeBrincat now. So he's got a 40-goal scorer, and he's got a guy who has been one of the best point producers in the last 10 years of the NHL. Simply, that's just unreal. And this guy last year was heating up so big at the end of the year. He had almost a tale of 2 seasons there. His first half, he was kind of struggling to get it going, and he just didn't really have it. Second half, he really exploded, and he was getting way more points. And I think that his play was getting better just all around. He looked more comfortable. He looked more dominant when he had the puck. Everything he was doing was just explosive. And I think that now that he's got that experience with Giroux, and he's got someone who he can pass to for beautiful one-time setups in DeBrincat, I just think that this guy is primed for a potential 75 to 80 point season.
Agreed on every point. Tim Stutzler's time is now. He is ready now. He has never played with this good of a team during any of his time in the NHL. So Tim Stutzler is gonna pop off. I know that. We know that for a fact.
Yeah, I feel very confident in this kid. Honestly, when they had the draft and Lafreniere went first overall and Quinton Byfield went second, I said that this kid should have been first. I told Howin here, I told all my friends, I said Tim Stutzler should be the first overall pick this year. But I mean, I guess scouts felt differently, but I think this is the year he really shows it to the world that he is that elite level talent.
Yeah, he'll be crazy. But my second pick will be from the Buffalo Sabres, Rasmus Dahlin. Rasmus Dahlin has never, to me, popped off ever since he got drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, first overall pick there. I feel like this season with Owen Power on the team, it's going to really lower his expectations this season. I feel like ever since he was drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, the expectation for this player by the fan base, by the organization, was very, very, very high. But now with Owen Power on the team, it's going to be lower, and that's going to help him a lot. And last year, I saw him under this coach, Granato. I saw him improving his play much better than under Ralph Kruger. So actually, the whole Buffalo team was playing better under Granato's system. So I see this trend to continue. He had negative 22 last season. I definitely see that drop a little bit this season. Unfortunately, we still don't have Buffalo Sabres as a playoff team, so I can't really put him as a plus player, but I feel like it's going to be much better than minus 22. And he had 53 points in 80 games last season. I feel like he can do much better than that. Hopefully in the 65s. So...
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for defensemen. I personally really like Rasmus Dahlin. I always have since he was drafted. I think he's really talented. And Howin's right, he hasn't fully gotten to show that at the top level yet. But I do think last year he took a step, and I think this year he will take another step. It's kind of unfair for defensemen that they almost have to rely on their team and their ability to have the puck and play defense, or else it kind of looks bad on them sometimes, especially with plus minus. But Dahlin, I can see him getting closer to like the minus 10 mark next year. He's still probably going to be a minus player playing on Buffalo, but I do think he's going to be a 60-point player. And like if he can get to 60 plus points, and he's still young, we got to remember like this guy is barely older than like some of these other prospects. He's like 21, 22 years old, right? So we can't really like hate on him too hard for not putting up these numbers when he was 18, 19 coming into the league.
Yeah, and I believe as a preseason right now, he's still projected to be power play 1, and power play 1, that's where you get all the points. So.
I heard people after like year 2 say, "Oh, this guy's a bust." Guy, I'm like, no. Defensemen aren't that fast to develop. You can't say a 19-year-old defenseman is a bust ever. Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
You can't expect this kid to be like a Connor McDavid, just go in there and just play.
No, and not everyone can kill McCarr. Just walk into the playoffs in the NHL, score goals, get assists, and be like amazing. Okay, you can still be a great future defenseman and take like 3-4 years to get going. And I think that's going to be like Dahlin. You're going to start to see it this year, especially even more. Yep. Next on my list, I have Elias Pederson of the Vancouver Canucks. Now, this seems like kind of a weird pick to say for a breakout, considering this guy won the Calder when he first came into the league. But so after he put up 66 points in his rookie season, he put up 66 points in his sophomore season. And then he consistently has always just been putting up 60-something for all the years in his career. But I think this is finally the year we get to see what we had expected from him as a rookie in his sophomore season. I think we get to see Elias Pederson, the full point per game player, the 80 to 85 point Elias Pederson. And I think that Vancouver is going to really be a lot better this year. And I think that's really going to help him. He's not hurt. He's not coming off an injury anymore. He's got Andrei Kuzmenko in preseason on his line, who he is fitting with amazingly. The chemistry there looks undeniable. That power play is loaded. We just talked about some of these other guys in our previous shows, but I mean, when you have JT Miller, you have Brock Besser, you have Quinn Hughes, Elias Pederson, and probably Andrei Kuzmenko as your 5 on your power play. The power play is going to put up some numbers, guys, and we're going to see some offense from this team, and especially from Elias Pederson.
There's 3 points I want to point out about Elias Pederson. Number 1, he's an elite player. He has the potential. He's the best player on the Vancouver Canucks, in my opinion, and probably in his opinion as well. And he's probably going to he has the potential to hit 90, 100 points. He has the potential to hit 100 points if he stays focused. Second point is last season, to start the year, he was in the negotiation for his contract, and he missed the whole training camp last season.
Yeah, very slow start for him. He ended up having 20 points in his first 40 games last year.
Yeah, so that's why he was so slow, because it's just like that start, like they were just, and he missed the whole training camp. So that's not a good way to like judge a player. And third point is they got a new coach. When Bruce Boudreau took over this team, his play absolutely improved.
Massive shift.
Massively.
Yeah.
And who's the coach now is Bruce Boudreau. He's going to have a full season. He is in training camp. He has the whole camp. He's ready to go. He's ready to have a breakout season at 80 points, 90 points this season. Won't surprise me.
The coaching shift was dramatic. And you saw it at the end of the year. Like the last 20 games Pederson played, he was just unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like I think he had like almost 30 points in his final 20 games. It was something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So I fully can't wait to see it happen and be right about this, that this is finally the year. After last 2 years, everyone's been saying that he's their breakout candidate, but I think this is truly the year.
Yeah. So my third and final player would be Evan Bouchard from my hometown team, Edmonton Oilers. Evan Bouchard didn't really play on the first power play unit last year, first and foremost. He still cracked over 40 points last year's season, which really shocked me because I made a bet with someone and I didn't think he was gonna hit 40 points, and he actually did on like the last game of the season, which I had to owe him a pizza, but whatever. It was good. This guy, I had 43 points last season. I project that he's probably gonna either take over power play 1 or split power play 1 this season. I don't see Tyson Barrie being there full time this season. I feel like his time, either Jay Woodcroft wants to develop him into that future for the team to be on that future power play unit with the core guys of Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and all those guys. So, and the playoffs, he was absolutely pretty good. Some of those timely goals that he had, especially in the series against the Calgary Flames there in the second round, I thought he played generally pretty well. So this season, he's projected to play with Kulak full time, and I feel like Kulak is a very underrated defenseman, and I feel like he's going to be actually an upgrade over Duncan Keith, to be honest with you. So I definitely see Evan Bouchard breakout to have at least 50 points this season.
Yeah, I like Evan Bouchard for the points. I don't know about his defensive game, but I do think it'll help to have a guy like Brett Kulak, a veteran who plays solid defense, to have them to pair with him. Kind of have like a yin and yang type thing, so he's able to stay back when Bouchard tries to take the play up the ice and stuff. Also, I just think Bouchard is better than Tyson Barrie at this point in every way, and it's kind of ridiculous that they were even still putting Barrie on that power play. Because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Bouchard has a cannon of a shot. That slap shot is vintage. That's like turning it back to like poor man's Al McInnes back in the day. Like he can really wind it up. So I think that adds a lot more to their power play and keeps them a lot more honest when they have guys like Connor McDavid and Draisaitl like playing alongside than having someone like Tyson Barrie who he's probably just going to pass it off to one of them.
Yeah, and actually I went to a lot of Oilers games last season, and every time Tyson Barrie touched the puck in the power play, I'm like, watch, he's going to pass it. He's going to pass it.
There's
and
not
almost
that, it's
every
not
time.
That threat. They
I'm
need
right.
the threat. They need
Yeah.
the threat of a shot.
They need to shoot on the
if
power
you don't
play.
have a defenseman who has the threat of a shot and a really good shot, then it makes it predictable.
And I follow a lot of Oilers games, and the problem I have with the Oilers power play is that they pass too often. They pass too much, and it's good that that's why they need Evan Bouchard, who can just rip it.
He's not afraid to let it loose.
Not afraid
Turn
to
it loose.
shoot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, for sure, I like that.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going with my third pick. I'm also going to go with a defenseman, and it's also going to be a young defenseman. I'm going to go with Bowen Byron from the Colorado Avalanche. Now, last year, Bowen Byron, he went through a lot. This poor guy, his concussion issues kept him down. He ended up only playing in like 30 games, and the year before he had the same problem. And I was starting to think this guy's career might be over before it starts. I was thinking this guy was going to retire by the age of 21, and I'm not even joking. And it was really sad because the talent was immense. Like this was a high-level prospect player. But then he came back, and he started to show signs that he was doing better, and he managed to actually end up putting almost like half a point per game in the regular season as a 20-year-old defenseman, playing no power play time, playing behind guys like Taves, Makar, Girard. And then the playoffs came. And I was like, wow, watching this kid at 20 years old be like the best defenseman on the ice in the Stanley Cup final. Like, yes, he actually played better than Makar in that final. And he was logging serious minutes. They were giving this kid 25 plus minutes in that series. And he wasn't making mistakes. He ended up being the highest plus minus defender on the entire playoffs, like of the entire playoffs. No one was better than him. It was unreal. He actually was only +1 away from being the best overall player in the entire playoffs for plus minus. And I know that's not the most important stat, but keep in mind, this kid's 20 years old and he's playing majority of the ice time. It's incredible what he managed to do, along with getting 9 assists and starting the plays. I just think that this is a player who could truly take the next step this year, especially if he's healthy. I feel like he'll cut into Devon Taves' role a bit more as that number 2 defenseman and take some away that ice time and the point production on the second power play. And I just feel like even though he will not be a Cale Makar is going to be one of a kind and no one's going to be Cale Makar. But I do think Bowen Byron has that potential with some power play time to be a 45 to 48 point player as a 21-year-old this year. So that's pretty incredible if you ask me.
You know what's funny when you brought that name up? I was thinking of that time, remember in the Stanley Cup parade where the cop
The cop pulled him over.
Pulled him over because he thought he's a fan.
Yeah, he didn't even look like a hockey player. He's just too absolutely blitzed out of his mind, drunk.
He looks so young. He looks like a fan. No,
he has a lot of character. He has a lot of character.
Oh, if I can't find a video, I'll try to show it. But but that was too funny. I couldn't stop laughing at that.
That was pretty great.
On a serious note, though, Bowen Byron was absolutely ridiculous in that playoffs. He played so many minutes on that.
He logged so much
he
time.
didn't. It felt like he never made a mistake every time
That
he was
was
on that
the
ice.
thing, right? He was just making the right play. He wasn't putting up like a point per game or any crazy stat like some of the other defensemen have, like a Victor Hedman or something like that. But like he was playing clean hockey.
And to gauge his performance, people should not gauge his performance by point production, because that's always going to be Cal McCarr on this team. He's going to
will be the power play quarterback.
He will always be a power play quarterback. But I feel like Scott said, the 40 point for this kid is going to be unreal, being an elite two-way defenseman. Like he's so poised. I feel like his for his age, how poised he is with that puck.
He's just so confident. Yeah. Very confident player.
When he has the puck, he's not like scared. He's not like rushed to make a play. He could keep it on his stick and wait for the right moment to make a right play.
He's not afraid to leave his defensive responsibility every once in a while, jump up in the play, and just go like a forward up the ice. But he also back checks. He's not that guy who just gets caught hanging up front, cherry picking kind of thing.
Exactly.
He's like, really good all around defenseman.
He's a player where I really appreciated him when I watched him throughout the playoffs. Just how good he really is.
Just the details.
Yeah,
the
just
details
the details
in
of the game. It's not. Yeah, he's not gonna score like 80 points, 90 points.
No,
but
never.
But the thing is, you have to understand, like, for a winning, one of the big reasons why Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup is he's a big part of that reason of his detailed, oriented defenseman, makes the right plays under pressure. That's very, very important.
No, couldn't have said it better myself. I agree.
Yeah, but that's all we have for this video today. If you have other players that you want to list, that you feel are breakout candidates, list in the comment section below. But until then, we'll see you guys in the next video.